Redditors aged 35 and under, how do you feel about this year taking up a part of your youth? Feels it to have something other than myself to blame. Well, I started off January 2020 by moving out of my parents' basement and into my very own apartment and starting my first post-grad job making some serious bank. Last week I moved back into the basement. My parents were empty nesters and are suffocatingly overjoyed to have me back home. Kill me. I'm 33. I spent most of my 20s recovering from the recession and picking a bad college major. Last year I was laid off and unemployed for half the year. I am fortunate to still be working, but this level of turmoil feels normal to me. Same age, the recession really fucked people our age. We are statistically fucked. I am 23 and honestly I am so thankful that I am able to spend this time finally relaxing after years of constantly moving around and brief periods of homelessness. It sort of feels like I am getting a chance to do a hard reset on my life and all my personal shit. I hate that it took a pandemic to be able to do this. I always feel guilty when I find myself enjoying something, because the only reason I have the time is because something really horrendous is happening. Globally, I'm 26, and it actually made me realize how much I'm wasting my youth even when I'm not in lockdown. I hope this realization helps me turn a few things around, even though I wasn't really successful at doing so in the past. I feel this so much. It took losing the love of my life during this pandemic to realize that I have really limited myself in my youth. I haven't done anything that I wanted to do for myself because I was with him for almost 10 years and was only worried about what was good for us as a couple. I've definitely put my feelings and needs on the back burner and I regret it wholeheartedly. I'm almost 26. In the grand scheme of things it's nothing. It's totally fine. Like, in the past kids were drafted, sometimes for utterly fucking stupid wars like World War I. Should check out some of the captain's diaries from that time. Gist of them is not a bad day. 3 meters. 4 dead. Kids younger than me dying for a few meters. I wish more people like you existed on Reddit. First year working as a doctor. Yeah, you can imagine. 35 at American here. For me, this is just another disaster in a long string of disasters that I'm unable to control. I was 17 when 9/11 happened. I was graduating college right around the time of the big recession in 2008. Things have been going wrong on such a large scale for the entirety of my adult life. It's hard to be surprised by any of it anymore. Decent chance of WW3 hitting in our lifetime too, if you count cyber wars. It's already started. WW3 is going to be a bizarre war. Drones, internal political strife, cyber attacks, viruses. Shit is gonna get crazy. My first year of college, I fucking hate it because this was supposed to be a year where I can try being on my own for once. Damn, I'm 40, so that's how it is, huh? Right, I'm 39, which is fine. But here comes this post with a punch to the gut that my youth ended 4 years ago. I'm about to turn 38, and this is the first year in a while that I'm grateful for another year. I'm immunocompromised, and, needless to say, shit's tough out there. I'm just happy to be here and have a few great decades behind me. Who considers a 34-year-old to be part of the youth? Most people except children. I'm in my late 20s with a child myself and I definitely feel like my youth is long ago. 1. Children tend to make you feel old. 2. Let me know what your opinion of your late 20s are when you are 50. I do in the grand scheme of things. I'm 32 and a grown man, but physically I might as well be 22. Then I look at elderly grandparents and they're almost a different species. I didn't want to be mean. Thanks for labeling me as a youth. I'm 36, so just enjoying this relaxing start to my golden years. Also 36. Popped a Werther's and I'm sitting on my front porch yelling at people to get off my lawn. Life is pretty sweet. I'm missing prom and graduation, so I'm pretty bummed. I'm 24 and have no clue why people are so obsessed with their youth. I have family friends in their 70s who are retired and spend all their time going dancing, traveling, and hanging out in their beautiful home with their hot tub. Shit. My parents are almost 50 and they just remodeled their yard and have an incredible pool with a wrap-around porch and hot tub. They go to Vegas twice a year and travel a couple more times besides. Meanwhile, I have a good job and make decent money, but not enough to live like that. I'm looking forward to stability of owning a home and being further in my career and whatnot. That right there is boomer privilege. I think that, barring great luck in career, retirement will look different for us youngins, if we see it at all. It sucks. Personally, I reached the point where I was financially stable enough to start enjoying more experiences. I had a year of travel planned where I was going to visit a lot of places I'd always wanted to see. First planned trip was to Europe, leaving the morning after Trump declared a travel ban, so I didn't even get to go on one trip. Have canceled all my plans since then. It feels like I'm being robbed a year from my 20s. Granted, I don't have it as bad as others because I can make up these plans in the future. There are people missing out on one-time experiences that I'm more sorry for. Happy. I'm 15 and this quarantine is the best thing that could happen. Especially here, in Russia, where the situation isn't that bad and we can go out cause nobody cares. There's 10,000 new confirmed cases a day in Russia. I'm 15 and don't have to do my GCSEs, so it's going great. I'm 30. Definitely has made me realize how much I hate living in the city I do, and I'm getting ready to move to somewhere I think I'll like more. I'm also realizing how much time I waste working. I really hate working. Honestly, it's fine. I am fortunate enough to still have my job. My wife and daughter are safe and healthy. My mortgage is covered and I still get to pursue my passions. Mostly streaming and watching movies, TV. I don't feel like this has taken away my youth in the sense that I am missing out on anything. I do, however, feel bad for my father. He is in his mid-60s and just starting to truly enjoy life. He had a lot of difficulties with the divorce. Long story there. He lives each day to the fullest as best he can and loves the summer. He goes to the beach almost every day when he is not working. This has hit him harder than me. The youth. I am enjoying it. It's been a great time to get to a grounded place and a glimpse at a simpler life. I miss my friends, but I do not miss commuting and being away from the home and dogs so much. I don't expect it to last for more than another year. And that is what it is. It's kind of a welcome break. I am 33, so youngish. I feel sad about it. It was supposed to be the first summer where I would really start enjoying college life instead of staying alone, so I'm pissed. I'm 34 and work about 65 hours a week right now, being essential. Nothing about that feels youthful. About to be 29 next month. Got back to my parents' house in January after some time of bad roommates. Started the year with some nearby weekend car trip. 2020 was the year of change. Being more extrovert. Got back with my old friends. 2 or 3 travels planned as also outdoor experiences that I was gonna try. And then this pandemic happened, canceling everything. 2 months of lockdown and I'm feeling that they are taking away my late 20s. I don't have a life anyway, so I'm cool with that. Just means there's less people around me when I need to go out. Honestly, whatever. All I was planning on doing these few months was saving up money anyway. My big plans kick off later this year. Now I have a big jump start because I'm taking home double what I usually make going to work. I mean, it's only been a month, so it's pretty much irrelevant to me. Damn. Why have you only been staying home for a month? My country has had lockdown in place since the end of March. The end of March was still only 5 to 6 weeks ago. Jesus, it feels so much longer. I live in New Zealand. I think the lockdown started at about April. I feel like it'll be a miracle if I live to 50. I'm 33 and pretty bummed about it. I spent my 20s focused on my career and looking after my family, and I've never had a lot of time for myself or relationships. This year I got a new job with a big pay rise and much fewer hours. So I was finally going to start dating and traveling and just doing the things I've always wanted to do but never had the chance. It's hard losing a year in your 30s. You don't have much of your youth left. And for women my age who want kids, time is ticking. This is my second recession of my adult life. Feels pretty shitty that much of what I worked hard for to save and build for myself is just gone. Also, I worked a decade in the travel industry and now I have no idea how viable any of those skills will be going forward. So may need a career change at 32. FML. Whatever. Dude. Same shit, different year. At this point, old people are pretty determined to make the rest of our lives and our children's lives as miserable as fucking possible. We'll probably end up looking back on this as the good old days. Yeah, I already had a feeling of hopelessness for the way everything has been going for years. Only difference is now I'm home all the time. I'm pretty pissed cause I wanted to travel more this year, but at the same time, relieved because my job was burning me out. I had actually asked for a month off between my contract end and promotion start, but they couldn't give it to me because they needed to throw me out there. Guess in a sense I managed it anyway, lol. But I also don't get any hands-on experience with my new position until this is over. The timing was awful. In contrast, my 39-ish-year-old BF is having the hardest time. He had just opened his new bar 2 years ago and the iron was burning hot. This was the perfect time for him to really get the ball rolling, and suddenly, that came to a stop. His dreams are almost crashing around him and he can't do anything about it. Not as bad as the people 60 plus for which this year is taking up part of their retirement. You've worked your ass off for years and now you're trapped indoors, not knowing how long for you'll be healthy enough to travel and do everything you've wanted to do before your body begins to fail you. I have many years after this one to do everything I've ever wanted. Meanwhile, my parents are having to accept there's places they'll now never be able to go. Honestly, fuck them, monsieur, fuck them with a spiked dildo. We've been literally begging them to do something about all the issues we care about: college, affordability, climate change, public transportation, healthcare, and their response has largely been, nah. I don't want to hurt my stock portfolio. Now they're getting screwed while stock traders are making out like bandits. And they want me to cry for them? Sorry. In their own words, I've got to look out for my self-interest. Not every 60-plus-year-old is a banker with a 401k. You can't write them all off as responsible for the world we have today. Much as we wouldn't want them to say we're all lazy, ungrateful layabouts who want government handouts for everything, we can throw false accusations around till the cows come home, but having empathy and understanding for each other goes much further. Think of the individuals, not the faceless massive boomer and beyond. Think of Captain Tom Moore stuck in his home walking round his garden for the NHS. Should he be fucked with a spiked dildo? They've got the money and the time to do that. They've had their lives and their experiences fucked us over in the process. That's a massively generalized comment which lacks any empathy. Perhaps the wealthy business leaders have, but my mum worked in a nursery and my dad managed a supermarket. They've lived comfortably but never had the time spare to do everything they wanted to. Now they can't. I can wait a couple of years and not worry about how my health will decline and wonder if I'll ever finish plans I made. Not every individual boomer is responsible for the housing crisis or climate change. Blame the leaders or corporations if you want, but if you actually spoke to some normal 60-plus-year-olds, you'll find they're mostly good people who don't deserve to be tarred with the same bitter brush. We'll be that age one day. You'd better hope the generations after us are more caring than you are. It was Bay Day last Friday. Ironic that we celebrated these people who lived through World War II, then write them off as having lived their lives and fucked us over. They were not the ones who fucked us over. It's the silent generation that fought in the war, not boomers. Boomers have faux victory nostalgia but never fought. All they did was live a great life, destroying it for us. They had 20 years between their recessions and could build a life and career. We barely get 10. Every time we get close, oops, boomers fucked us again. You realize you're blanket blaming a whole generation for a situation that most of them didn't control, which is a very simplified viewpoint. In 50 years, our generation will likely be blamed for things we as individuals don't have much control over, such as fossil fuels and use of plastics. My neighbors have just bought a plastic lawn. There's lots of dumb shit we're doing that's fucking up the world for tomorrow. We're not perfect. Also, it's easy to think boomers had an easy time, whereas most were born in the time of rationing. They lived through miners and electrician strikes. They were born into a post-war recession. Many grew up without central heating and had to use a toilet in their gardens. Actually ask your parents and grandparents about their lives and understand their viewpoints. They didn't necessarily have the world handed to them on a silver platter as we like to think they did. Yes, our generation has shit to deal with too, and some boomers are less than empathetic, but that doesn't mean we should stoop to the level of those few. The world is much too full of them versus us beliefs. It makes it a shitty place to live. We have time to live our lives when COVID is over. We can have hope for the future, whereas they're stuck at home being forced to consider their mortality. Also, while working retail, most of the entitled Karen asshole were in their 40s rather than 60 plus. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.